We're not going to take it anymore. So far, that is the cry from the cruise industry, from the CLIA, from islanders and cruisers alike. We're absolutely tired of the CDC, of politicians, and news media calling for cruising to end. The question today is, are these calls gaining momentum? Is the call to end cruising working? We're going to talk about one country who has decided that for the short term, they're going to end cruising. We're going to tell you why, and could the same thing happen here in the United States? Plus, wait until you see this Fortune article that I'm going to show you. It's awful journalism at its worst. I will show it to you today. We have all kinds of things to talk about, and let's do so right now on Island Time. A big happy Tuesday, January the 4th of 2022. I hope your week is going great. And hey, welcome to the show. We are on Island Time. We are in the islands where all of us want to be. I am your host, Derek, and we have an awesome show planned for you today. We're going to get to this big question that is the public call of canceling cruising, canceling the cruise industry. Is it working? We're going to get to that here in just a minute. But first, we have to say a big thank you to Richard Fain. That's right, effective midnight, at the stroke of midnight. Richard Fain, Royal Caribbean CEO for the last 33 years, officially retired. You may or may not know the name and actions of Richard Fain over the past 33 years. You may have sailed with Royal Caribbean. You may be familiar with him. You may not know who he is, but he has impacted cruising in so many positive ways, and now he's stepping down. He assumed the role in 1988. How about that, 1988? Royal Caribbean was a brand that had 2,700 employees. They had 5 ships. Five ships. And they were operating in the Caribbean and Bermuda. He's transformed the business, not just Royal Caribbean's businesses, but the industry. They now have 5 different brands, 5 cruise lines, 85,000 employees, 60 ships, and they sell to over 800 destinations in the world. Happy retirement, Richard Fain. We all want to be where you're at. What are you going to do in retirement? Take a cruise? That's what I wondered. That's what I plan to do. Let's get into this cruise news because there is a lot to talk about today. I want to answer this question that we've asked. Are calls to ending cruising working? Are they? Because momentum is, I hate to say it, momentum is starting to build among government officials, among the CDC, and especially the news media to end cruising right now. Stop it. End it. Don't go. Stop. But we're not going to take it. That's the news we have. Let's first start in Brazil. Brazil has suspended cruising. Okay, Brazil has suspended cruise operations through January the 21st. This story is in the media and it's portrayed as they are stopping cruising because of COVID. And COVID is so rampant and there's outbreaks on ships. And so Brazil, the government of Brazil, has decided to end cruising. And that is not the story. Don't listen to that story because that is not the story. The Cruise Line International Association, the CLIA, the Brazil's chapter, has suspended cruise operations to Brazil ports through January the 21st of this year, citing inconsistencies with the Brazilian Health Ministry's approach to the pandemic cruise protocols. That's right, it's a disagreement on protocols, on-board protocols, how the government should help, what is their role in protocols. It's not because of outbreaks, like the media wants you to believe. It's instead due to protocols. The suspension was prompted by a lack of unity between Anvisa, Brazil's health agency, and the cruise industry, which had agreed upon terms of pandemic response and protocols back in November. They agreed, here's going to be the protocols on the ship. Here's what's going to work. This is what science shows. It's been proven to work in other places in the world. The CLIA has also told Travel Weekly that Brazilian authorities have made last-minute changes to these protocols, to MSC and Costa Cruise Line ship protocols that have directly impacted ship operations. And it's because of that the CLIA has said no. We're not stopping in Brazil. We're not cruising to and from Brazil, not until we figure this out. The CLA Brazil will use this time between now and January the 21st to clarify operational health and safety protocols with the federal, state, and local governments of Brazil, warning that the entire cruising season in Brazil is in jeopardy and could be canceled if they do not agree on protocols. It's not clear what types of protocols are being questioned or what was overturned by the Brazilian health ministry. We're not sure what the disagreement is. But that's why cruising has stopped to and from Brazil. It's not because of COVID outbreaks. So Brazil canceling or suspending cruising, that's not going to happen other places. It's not going to happen in the United States. I literally watched a video today where a travel analyst said, could this happen in the United States? And it was in the framework of Brazil has canceled cruises because of COVID and COVID outbreaks. That's not the story. That's not going to happen in the United States because cruise lines and the CDC actually have a good relationship. A year ago, it wasn't a good relationship. Even in March, April, May, it wasn't good. Now it is good. Protocols are clear. They're clearly established. They're clearly trained. All the employees are trained on protocols. They're clearly communicated to passengers who are going to embark on a cruise ship. CDC officials are on board cruise ships from time to time. We know that there are investigations that take place, and it's literally because of 7 or 8 cases, or could be more, on a cruise ship of 3,500 or 4,000 people, triggers an investigation by the CDC. Port agreements are in place that will allow cruise ships to come back and treat those who are sick, who need medical attention, who need to isolate. And so what's going on in Brazil, in both fashions that the media is portraying it as, a COVID outbreak or the news I've actually shared with you that there's a disagreement in protocols, it's not going to happen. Are the calls for canceling cruising working? No, it's not working in this situation, and it's not going to. How about this Fortune article? I'm going to bring this up for you so you can see it. It is pretty remarkable here. Here is the article. Cruise ship companies are defying the CDC's warning and doing business as usual. Cruise ship companies are defying the CDC's warning and doing business as usual. How about this article from Fortune? Let's X off of that right there. How about this? The agency issued a COVID-19 warning last week, calling cruising a high-risk travel activity even among the fully vaccinated. The virus that causes COVID-19 spreads easily between people in close quarters and on board ships, and the chance of getting COVID-19 on cruise ships is very high, even if you are fully vaccinated and have received a COVID-19 booster dose. That's what the agency said. They said you might not cruise right now if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, but Fortune has gone so far to say, hey, cruise ship companies are defying the CDC's warning and doing business as usual. We're going to talk about usual here in just a second. How about this next paragraph here? As the highly contagious Omicron variant continues its rapid spread across the country, the agency said last week that it's currently investigating COVID outbreaks on more than 90 ships. Again, most of those are under a dozen cases on cruise ships. Norwegian cruise line Royal Caribbean reported positive COVID-19 cases on ships this month and have strengthened their onboard mask policies as a result. Carnival Cruise Line also reinstated a mask policy this month. Again, outbreaks. Most of the time it's less than 1%. Major U.S. cities would absolutely love to see a 1% positivity rate, but some cities in the United States are seeing 15, 18, 20, 25% positivity rates. Again, put everything into perspective. They go on to interview several cruisers in this story and almost make these cruisers look like they're on the wrong side of the story or that they're ignorant. I don't want to use the word stupid, but I'll use the word stupid. CDC also says we should wear masks everywhere we go, but you don't see anyone doing that. They also reference someone who says, I'm going to go on this cruise anyway from Houston, going on the Carnival Vista. Just not a good light. It's really not at all. We'll skip down here to this paragraph. Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, and Carnival all lost money in 2020 and are expected to do so again in 2021. First off, that's not completely true. They did indeed lose money in 2020, but in 2021, especially the second half of the year, they see a profit. They do. That's what they've shared with Wall Street. That's what they've shared with investors. And if they're knowingly misleading investors, it's a crime. It's a crime to do so. So the second part of that statement, they're expected to do so in 2021. They are expected the first part of the year, but overall in 2021, forecasted right now, they're not expected to lose money. Fortune also shares their stock prices fell after the CDC released their cruise guidance last week. It did. Stocks were down for a couple of days, but they've been up the last 2 or 3 days. And again, it's failed to be reported here. Just another call, another claim. Cruise ship companies are defying the CDC's warning and doing business as usual. Well, let's talk about usual, doing business as usual. How about this? Is it usual for a business to have 95% to 100% vaccinated guests? Is that business as usual? It's not where I'm from. Most of the places I go do not have a vaccination rate of 95 or 100%. Is it business as usual for everyone you're around to be tested within 48 hours of you seeing them? That's not business as usual anywhere else I go. Cruise lines have limited capacity. They could sell their ships as much as they want to. There's no restriction on that from the CDC. This is a self-imposed protocol that they're going to lower capacity, and they've done that to remain safe. Is it business as usual to have everyone indoors wearing a mask except for when they're eating or drinking? It's not business as usual anywhere else I go but a cruise ship. And then don't even get me started on the cleanliness of the ship. It's amazing to see staff members and workers on the ship and the different things they clean, things that we don't even think about to clean, they're cleaning. Don't get me started on business as usual, Fortune magazine. This article entitled, Cruise ship companies are defying the CDC's warning and doing business as usual is bogus. And this call to end cruising is not working. It's not. Public calls to end cruising are not working. Cruise lines are working with the CDC right now. I would expect that we would see some new protocols this month sometime. I would think before January the 15th, when the CDC relinquishes some power to cruise lines and the conditional sell order becomes voluntarily, not a requirement. We're going to stay on top of it. You know we will. We'll have all the information for you and how it affects cruising. I ask you, if you're not a subscriber yet, almost 80% of our viewers are not subscribers. I invite you personally to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, be alerted when we upload content, and it would help us greatly if you would give us a big thumbs up on this video. Let me ask you a question here. Do you think calls to end cruising are working? What do you think? You guys see some different things than I do. You see local news as well. Some of you guys, you've been on cruise ships the last couple of weeks. Let me know what you think. Do you think these calls to end cruising are working? And do you think cruising will end in the United States, even if it's a short amount of time? Let us know in the comment section below, and we will interact with you. We respond to you. I see everything that you post. We'll have more cruise news right here on Island Time tomorrow as things unfold. Have a great day, everyone.